Hi guys, just taking a breather out here in this wonderful spot. It's excellent weather today, and today I'm going to take up navigation again. And I already have a few films in which I discuss navigation, and also actually a series which was called Bush Navigation. And I think it was in that series that I told you that there was a bit more to it than that. Of course I teach a lot of normal navigation using maps and compasses and so on, and some mathematical tricks to basically to navigate and go around obstacles and so on. But somehow I don't remember seeing or reading about any Aboriginal people using maps and compasses when they still travel huge distances through wilderness. And after some while, they also manage to return to their places that they know or should be. So that's the idea of today's film, offsetting and demonstrating what I would call Aboriginal navigation. And I'm going to demonstrate that by walking into the uncharted area, which I just postulate is uncharted. It of course isn't, but anyway. And use these little bamboo skewers, I have 10 of them, and put them down at certain places to demonstrate certain methods. It is using all the faculties that you have at your disposal without actually really thinking about it. It comes natural to us. It's part of being human. We acquired these abilities in the time span of 3 million years, 3 million years of evolution. I don't think a few thousand years of modern culture can eradicate those, and well, I hope so, because otherwise I won't find this place back and I won't have my pins. When I was talking, a thought came into my mind, and it's going to be something that's going to be reflected into the name of this movie. This is actually something that is different than navigation, and I'm going to call it pathfinding. It's pathfinding versus navigation, really. So, I packed away my tripod and stuff, and well, I'm ready to go. And I will set my first skewer at this rock. Maybe not really necessary, but there are a lot of rocks out here, so having a skewer like that will make it clear that it is the same rock later on. So let's do that. And here you have the unmistakable sign of Big Dude's sitting, and I put it straight in. There it is, right smack in the middle. And it is there we are going. I didn't even come 20 meters when the first thought struck me. This is going to be a bit weird, because I have to be really mindful of the things that I do in order to explain or analyze what actually happens when we're navigating this way, when we're pathfinding. I noticed that I very often turn around and look back, and actually look in all directions. It's not something that I'm very conscious of, but it might be something that you're not really thinking about. If you only walk in one direction, only look in one direction, you will notice that when you look back it looks completely different. And it might not automatically mean that you do recognize things. And to demonstrate that, I'm here at a point, and I think I will put one of these skewers down here as well. That would be the second one. And, well, the second one from, yeah, so basically the first on the walk, right? But I want to show you something here that might be considered a trap, a navigation trap. I selected this place when I came walking here, because this tree was enormously interesting as a navigational sign, I thought. Let's see how it looks now. And what happens when I retrace my steps a bit here. And look at it now. you see this tree was not just a little bit bent, it was enormously bent. So I was thinking that tree is very nice, because I can see that one from a long way off, and now this is a place that I've been. But yeah, you noticed when I just was 15 meters from here, the tree looked almost straight. And of course that's because I was looking at it from a different angle. Okay, but anyway, I will put down one of the skewers here. The route I'm taking is not straight. I just kind of crisscross around these areas, going into a general direction. But I noticed that where I'm walking, a lot of other animals have walked. So I'm following trails. They're not really obvious here, but you see them. And that's a very interesting point, that even though we are not consciously trying to track animals, we do follow the same kind of routes, because the landscape creates for us natural exits, natural pathways that we kind of walk through. And certainly some animals, especially much smaller animals, will have a completely different perspective. They will see all kinds of paths down here in the heather. But for us, we are quite high up. We take roughly the same kind of pathways that moose and reindeer will take. That's not something we think about, it just happens. That's a great thing, because the animals, they know the best route. And it appears so do we. I'm about to leave this open area, and I would like to prove a little point, and I'm going to put one of the skewers right down here in the middle. But also demonstrate a trick, because, yeah, although a lot of this navigation stuff, this pathfinding stuff, has to do with our subconscious mind and how we actually record our environments and so on, there are a few tricks. And I will first put it down exactly here where I'm standing, and as you see, there is a little pine exactly aligned with it behind it. When I turn around to the other one, you see that much bigger tree there, and there is a little pine just in front of it, and a slightly bigger pine behind it, also exactly aligned from my position here. So that's a pretty neat trick. If you need to find a very small particular space, and you do not rely on your instincts to find that place back, you can use these kind of tricks. You use alignment of things in the environment. So I think it's time to put down that will be the fourth skewer. There's one at the place we started, and then I've put two more down. And here you see that's a different environment. You see all around me, it's a pretty thick area with very young trees. So yeah, here there are no discernible large landmarks that I can align stuff on. So there's no guarantee I will find back, but I put down, right where I stand here, I will put down a skewer, and well, if we take the same route back, we might encounter it or not. So I'll put this down. See, that's where I put it down, and this is where I came from. And you see it's all lots of small trees. So yeah, this one will be quite a challenge to find back. See, there is a skewer lightly put into the bark of this little pine. There's nothing really spectacular or specific about this place, just that I wanted to put one down here. That's number 5. See, I'm walking, but I'm not looking down, and it is just normal forest floor. So that's a little trick you need to learn. It takes a bit of training, but it is one very valuable technique. That's number 6. And of course I wouldn't be really realistic with this if I don't take real obvious landmarks, because that is what we would do in reality, right? So here there's a really nice big fallen tree, and a really nice stone there, and I'm designated this area to be where I will take some tea later on. So here I put down another skewer on a very old little log, and we are in a more mature area of the woods now, and I'm very much aware of that the sun is that way and I'm walking in that direction, and that means that we made quite a big arc. And the arc that we made, that's just due to the landscape. It just wasn't, well, natural to follow the course straight on. I just followed some kind of a ridge, and that makes you deviate from your intended course. But I will later on correct that again, if the landscape will permit me. It's much more normal and natural to follow pathways that feel natural to take, that minimize the risk and are easy to walk on. In the end, you can be much faster by doing that than by blindly following a course. We got some visitors here. You see, there is a little bird there. They're calling me for some reason. He's sitting here all around me. I don't know what they want, but by the way, that last one was number 7, if I count right, and I think so. So this was the ridge I was telling you about. Only now we are maybe 500 meters away from the other place where the birds came. It's really nice here. Anyway, I put another skewer down here in this old piece of root system of a very old fallen tree. And I'm going to take a little breather here. So, only 2 left. It's a magnificent walk, really. There was something else that I noticed. When we were at the birds, I did sharply turn again. I didn't gradually do it like I said. And it was as a direct consequence of the birds. Because it somehow registered there was quite an urgency in what they were trying to communicate. Because it was a form of communication. Birds came out of nothing. They sit on a tree, not a meter in front of me, at eye level, and started to chirp away like mad. It's that kind of things that I think we may have lost a bit. So here I'm putting down number 9. I don't know if you can see it on the film. I sure can't. Ah, there it is. Yeah. It's hard to see on the little screen really, but there it is. Well, I'm now at the place where I want to place my 10th skewer, and I will take it up again as well. And this place just doesn't give you the feeling that you want to stay here. These are the kind of things you also need to kind of be aware of. This is just not, this is not a place to be. It's really nice, you can visit it, walk through it, but it clearly doesn't invite us to set up a camp or something like that. Okay, here we have pin 9. So this is pin 8. It was a bit of a climb up, but here I had a little rest. Cool. Okay, and there we have pin 7. And it followed naturally on my path, even though at this point I abruptly changed because of the bird's warning. And there we have number 6. I was going to have tea here, but I'm actually much more warm than cold, so I just take a bit of water here. Well, so far so good, but that wasn't really a big deal, because from number 6, this one, where I should have tea, but I'm just taking a bit of water, I put them on what you would call natural landmarks. Things that you would recognize if you go, but you still need to follow the actual path. And that is not really obvious. So I encourage you to train that, to do that. Just put pins out and see if you can actually walk back through a forest following the same kind of trail, where you're not following a straight line or a bearing, but just taking the path of least resistance. On to number 5, and those 5 are going to be much more difficult. So this one is number 5, and that was just basically found on feeling, and nothing much more. I mean, there is no way. But great that I find it anyway. I was losing hope here a bit. Sometimes this stuff really amazes me. I've been going around for about a quarter of an hour, well, at least 200 meters from here, and then I gave up on number 4. And I walked from there to go and find number 3, and I just completely walk onto it. In a straight line, I just find number 4. Amazing. So here I am in the area with the 2 dead trees. So now I just have to make stuff line up to find my number 3 pin. So these ones are lined up, check. I just have to go forward to line up the other one. That should be it. That is almost correct. Now it is. So I should be standing on my pin. Where's my foot? Oh wait, there. Well, that works. So, yeah, this is just a mechanical way of navigating, and it works splendidly as well. That's the number 3 pin. So my number 2 pin was the one that I put with the strangely curved birch. But when I look back now, I don't see any birch like that, and I should be able to see it in the distance, but I don't really. So I just walk on, using the sun to give me the direction, because that was pretty much on a straight line from the starting point. Taking account slightly for that some hours have passed, and we will see if I recognize the environment there. And indeed, there was no way I would have found the curved birch from where I was standing, because it just didn't show anything abnormal from that angle. But yeah, we have the pin here. So it's hard to... yeah, there it is. So that's my number 2 pin. Well, I already see my stone. So that was number 10. That is where I sat doing the intro to this movie. So pathfinding versus navigation. Well, navigation is purely a science, a bit of arithmetic, some tricks to know. Pathfinding, aboriginal navigation that is using all the faculties that you have at your disposal, that is very, very much based in awareness. So if you're interested in this with awareness, in about 2 weeks an online course starts, which is Nature Awareness 1. There are still a few spots open, and because it's online, wherever you are in the world you can join. Just check out my website, varavil.se, and maybe see you there. Until the next movie, guys.